Well, Sheikhna, it's very popular and common that we do sujud on tissue paper and stuff like that and other papers. What about banknotes? Are we allowed to perform sujud on banknotes? The recent ones that we have, the bank has released here in the UK, they're made of plastic. Can we even do sujud on that?
Of course, on the plastic you can't do sujood on. But with regards to the banknotes in overall, the paper banknotes in overall, as a obligatory precaution, احتياط وجوبي, to avoid praying on the banknotes in overall. Yes.
Sheikh, is it permissible for a Christian woman to work as a servant in their house, cleaning, washing clothes and dishes and chopping vegetables, according to His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sheikh Bashir al-Najifi?
Sheikh Bashir mentions that the one should avoid the wetness of the servant's body when it comes to cross-contamination with in the wetness with other items such as, let's say, the spoons, the plates, when washing them, for example, to avoid whatever being touched with wet hands in the kitchen and in the, let's say, living room and so forth. However, other ulama, such as Ayatollah Sistani, would not consider Ahl Kitab impure or najis.
Okay.
So it depends who you follow. Those who would consider Ahl Kitab najis impure, they have to refrain. Those who do not consider them impure and they are tahir, of course, they can follow their marji' with this regard, with comfort, without worrying about the najasa issue. And this is because there are two different riwayat to this regard. One would say they are najis, one would say they are pure. So each marji' would extract the shar'i hukum from one of these riwayat ala kulli hal.
Sheikh, a question from, I think it's from YouTube. Can a Sunni girl do mut'ah with a Shia guy? So the groom, the man is Shia, and the female, the wife is Sunni.
Of course, in terms of the Shari'a was, they would allow it, but it's better to avoid such marriage. As I've said before, there are consequences as a result. Although the mut'ah is just a temporary period, but however, in the Ahl Sunnah's Aqidah, this is haram. Okay. So how come this Sunni individual would come forward and accept if his Aqidah is haram to perform the mut'ah? So we have to ask this individual, how could you allow yourself to perform this contract when you consider in your fiqh as haram relationship?
Sheikh, is it permissible to perform scientific experiments on animals?
Yes, it's permissible. There's no issue with it.
Well, the awarded Hajj is when one pays the expenses of performing the Hajj to someone who does not possess them, like saying, I pay you your expenses and the expenses of your family, so long as you go on Hajj. What would be the ruling for this individual towards Hajj?
If the Hajj expenses was paid by somebody, donated or paid as a gift and so forth, then the Hajj would become wajib and obligatory on this individual. In other words, this person would become mustati' and capable for the Hajj journey. So it's wajib for him to, or for her to, arrange for the trip and all the papers needed for the Hajj to be prepared, visas, passports and so forth. And that would satisfy for the Hajj al-Islam, which is the main first Hajj, the wajib Hajj. That would be satisfied. So he doesn't have to, let's say in 2-3 years time, this individual becomes rich. He gets, I don't know, money from inheritance, from whatever means, profits. Now he becomes mustati'. No, he was mustati', with the money was given to him as a gift, for example. Khalas, he went to the Hajj. The rest of the coming years, even if he gets money, he's not obliged to go again for the Hajj al-Islam, the first very wajib Hajj. So that would suffice for basically the Hajj al-Islam, and doesn't need to go again to do the wajib Hajj again.
Sheikh, a question from WhatsApp. What is the call of Haydari in the background of the Majlis? What does it mean? And why does one do it? Does it refer to our beloved Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? I think they're talking about the Nara Haydari that happens, especially in the Pakistani communities and so forth. And this is like, it's like a slogan and it's a chant that we do. And I mean, it's always done when the khatib or the one who's reciting mentions a really, really nice point about Imam Ali and so forth. But Sheikh, please, not a headry that happens in the majalis.
I think you explained very well in terms of the in the majalis of the Pakistanis usually they would
we do a lot.
Rise. But in overall we have statements that says ذكر علي ibadah, that to bring the name of Ali is ibadah, part of the ibadah, because Ali alayhi salam leads to Allah Azza wa Jal. So when we say Ya Ali, it's a pathway towards Allah Azza wa Jal, and we don't associate Allah with Ali alayhi salam at all. That's shirk, that's kufr. We say Ya Ali because he is the means towards Allah. وَابْتَغُوا إِلَيْهِ الْوَسِيلَةِ, that consider means towards Allah Azza wa Jal, and they are Muhammad al Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa.
Sheikh, is it okay for our sisters to wear black coats and scarves and so forth throughout the year, or should it be only preserved for like Muharram and Safar? Is it makruh to wear it outside of these months? According to His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani, what does he say?
The Sayyid mentions there's no problem with such clothing, black wearing around the year, and it is not makruh because that's basically part of their hijab. And as you know, the less attractive a woman looks, the better in terms of the hijab, rather than wearing colorful hijab that attracts. So there's no karaha with it now.
Okay. Sheikhna, question here. Can we recite a surah without saying Bismillah aloud?
All surahs in the salah must be beginning with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You cannot, the salah will be void and batil if you, let's say Allahu Akbar and then say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Like what some of the non-Shia do, especially the Wahhabis. If you watch the Jama'ah prayer or Friday prayer from Mecca or Medina, they would straight say Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Yeah, they don't say Bismillah aloud. No.
This is not allowed in our Aqidah and the Aqidah of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used to recite the Bismillah. I don't know where they bring this bid'ah, as I'm going to mention in the hadith, that they would basically ignore such a great ayah in the holy book. Every surah we start Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We say it. We don't remove this ayah. It's part of the Quran. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam in Bihar Anwar, he states with regard to this matter that ma lahum qatalahum Allah. What's wrong with them? May Allah be at war with them. And this is dua of the Ma'soom.
Yes.
That may Allah fight them, be at war with them. So dua al-Ma'soom alayhi salam. And we see today that the Muslim world today is in constant war and battles and terrorism and so forth. ما لهم قاتلهم الله وعمدوا إلى أعظم آية في كتاب الله. They come to the greatest verse in the Holy Quran. The Imam says أعظم آية. This Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is a great ayah. بسم الله الأعظم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فزعموا أنها بدعة إذا أظهروها. So they claimed that if they recite it aloud, then أنها بدعة, that this is a بدعة, وهي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In which the Imam عليه السلام says, this is basically, they think that this is a bid'ah, in other words. But they have cut a great ayah from the Holy Quran, from the Salah, that they straight away say, Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. What kind of innovation is this in Salah? That you take away a verse, and it's such a great verse. Or in Adhan, they take away Hayya ala khayr al-amal. So they try to innovate in religion. As I've said, they've changed the Salah, they've changed the Adhan, innovated many things inside these acts. One of them is the hand folding and praying in this way. So, of course, this is against Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. the way they taught their followers. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did Rasulullah pray like this? Hand folded and saying Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen? This is bid'ah in salah, basically.
I see. Sheikh, more questions coming in from our viewers. Assalamu alaikum. Can we watch Western shows and movies such as Squid Games and Harry Potter?
If these movies and shows have, number one, songs played, like music and so forth, and number two, indecent images of ladies or even gentlemen, indecent clothings, or even almost, without clothings, of course, these are haram to watch. So it's difficult, to be honest. The one should be very careful with these movies and shows.
Another question, Sheikh. Associating anybody as partner associating anybody as partner to Allah is shirk. As per me, is saying Ya Ali Madad shirk?
I've just said, when we say Ya Ali Madad, we ask the Imam alayhi salam to ask Allah Azza wa Jal. He is the means, median. We're not asking Imam Ali separate from Allah, isolated from Allah Azza wa Jal. Ali alayhi salam is Abdullah. He said it. Abdullah wa akhu Rasulih, and the brother of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. The Holy Prophet, who is greater than Imam Ali alayhi salam in status and position, we say every day in adhan and tashahhud wa ashhadu anna in tashahhud in salah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Abduhu first, and then he is the messenger. The slave of Allah, then the servant of Allah, then he is the messenger of Allah Azza wa Jal. So by that means we don't consider them as part of Allah Azza wa Jal or with Allah Azza wa Jal. Partners, no, astaghfirullah. But they have the power. Allah gave them this power. Allah gave them this status that we ask Him through them. وَابْتَغُوا إِلَيْهِ الْوَسِيلَةِ. Otherwise, remove this verse from the Holy Quran if you're against this calls Ya Ali or Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein or Ya Muhammad. You're against this verse, the holy verse. They say, وَابْتَغُوا. We go to the Kaaba, we kiss the Kaaba, the Hajar Aswad. We say, Ya Allah, you're asking, you're begging a black stone. You're kissing a black stone. Who is greater, the black stone or Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? We have to understand. Where is the aql? Where is the reason? Sadly, today's Muslims always look at things, in a shallow vision, sadly. You kiss the black stone and you say, Ya Allah, to the sanctity of this Kaaba. Ali is greater than the Kaaba. How could you ask the Kaaba, the black stone, and you don't ask Ali alayhi salam? He's the means towards Allah. وَابْتَغُوا إِلَيْهِ الْوَسِيلَةِ.
MashaAllah. Ahsan, Sheikh. Sheikh, another question here. Is it permissible to use the Sahih Imam alayhi salam in charitable projects while there are tens of thousands of believers who are in need of bread and clothes, etc.?
You have to ask the permission from your marja or representative.
Okay. Sheikh, just bear with me. Is it permissible to inject chemicals into corpse to prevent it from decomposing for the purpose of transporting it to the holy shrines?
It is permissible even if the deceased did not write this in his will, because it's been very encouraged to bury our deceased men and women, the marhumin, close to the shrines of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, in the same city or vicinity of the Imams' graves and shrines, especially Karbala and Najaf. So if we can transfer them, that would be great, because they are now resting in peace, close to Ali ibn Abi Talib salam, close to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So it's a blessing to bury them, to be next to them.
Inshallah. Sheikh, is it permissible for an Islamic government to allow non-Muslims to cremate their dead?
Yes, it is permissible, given the rule of ألزموهم بما ألزموا به أنفسهم. The translation is enjoin them with what they enjoin themselves. So this is a fiqhi qaida or ruling in which would allow us to allow them to do such thing because they have it in their own religion and faith. So Islam respects, for example, their aqidah with disregard, for example.
Shaykh, is it permissible to transport the deceased along with his entire grave and its surroundings, say by 3 cubic meters in a large truck, such that it is not considered to be, as being an exhumation?
Yes, it is permissible as long as there's no signs of disrespect to this deceased individual. So very gently, respectfully, they would remove the place of this qabr into somewhere else. And it happened a lot with ulama. Some of the ulama were eventually, by the expansion of the streets and roads,
Yes.
They were buried in let's say, inside a pavement, for example. So they moved this alim's grave to a nearby graveyard. So it is allowed, but they have to observe respect of the deceased.
Ahsantum. Shaykh, some questions coming in from our viewers. Are collyrium and rings among the exceptions in Sharia? In other words, is it permissible to wear in front of non-mahram men? Are they talking about the aqiqs and the faroza and rings like that? Are women allowed to wear them in front of men?
There are different
opinions
with this regard. Yes, some would say yes, some would say no. This is a zina. So best thing to go back to your alim or rep to ask them for the specific opinion. That would be better.
Another one from our viewers. Assalamu alaikum. We are often told that if you have done a sin, example, accusation or backbiting in relation to a person, then you need to ask forgiveness from the person before Allah forgives you. Is this true?
Yes, with regards to the backbiting, you have to go back to the individual that you backbited and ask for forgiveness. But some ulama would say that if that was very difficult, would cause discomfort, maybe that individual would not accept or would basically, somehow things would be even worse if he hears that you talk against him on his back. So you do istighfar for him, for example, whenever you remember him, whenever you remember his name, or whenever you remember that incident. Allahumma aghfir lah, astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu.
Interesting question here, Sheikhna. Did the Imams curse Aisha? Aisha meaning the wife of the Prophet.
You see, in overall, cursing the enemies of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, be it directly or indirectly, it's been proven that they have caused a lot of deviation and division within the Muslims. It is enough for us that she waged this war against Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam in Basra, the Battle of Camel, Harb al-Jamal. That would be enough, because they believe that Imam Ali is the fourth Khalifa, Khalifa al-Rabi'. Now she waged war against her supposed to be the fourth Khalifa.
Yeah.
But that actually by itself would basically reach the stage of course, deserving to be la'an.
Yes.
To be made la'an upon.
I mean, I think even according to Islamic law, that's treason, going against your own caliphate. And I think it's punishable by death as well if you were to wage war.
If she waged war against Umar, let's say, would they say the same thing? I don't think so.
Possibly
because
not.
they respect Umar a lot. Whoever comes, against Umar, raises his sword, they would, of course, they would, curse him and reject him as well.
I see. Sheikhna, is earning from professional sports halal?
Professional sports?
If you are a professional, you get paid to play for a team, whether it's football or cricket or boxing or, I don't know, in the Olympics you don't get paid, but professional sports where you get paid basketball and things like that.
If no haram is involved, number one. Number two, it doesn't cause harm or death or loss of limbs and so forth, that would be fine.
Sheikhna, let's go to the Shia Plus video and let's see how we can help our shabab, inshallah.
It's a nice cold day, it's not bad, it's not too cold. Oh, what's this? It's an aqiq ring. It looks very nice. I'm gonna take this, This looks nice. Wait, can I take it?
The young Amir Raza there. He's found an aqiq ring on the floor. Does he have ijazah to actually, keep it for himself? It looks like it was an open area. The owner wasn't there. There was no one actually looking for a ring or saying that I've lost the ring. Have you seen it or something like that? What is the hukm here?
If the ring had signs on it in which you can describe, distinctive descriptions and features on the ring, of course, this brother needs to go and advertise it in public place, let's say in the mosques, in markets, wherever people are there gathered in that local area, to tell them that, I found the ring. Please come and give the descriptions, and I can give it back to you.
Inshallah. Shana, we're going to go to a short break. Inshallah, we'll continue our discussion here after the break. Assalamu alaikum.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures of
Is it
scholars at
permissible to
home.
plant trees by or
Was
over
Islam
the
established
graves?
based on peace and
Is it permissible
non-violence?
to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted
individuals?
to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there
countries?
an issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, call in on +44 2035 150199 or WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155. Alternatively, you can also email us on Ahkam SOS at imamhussein.tv.
Yes, there are many, many ways you can contact us and send in your questions. It doesn't matter what topic you want to discuss. No topic is too silly or taboo or inappropriate for us. Just send us the question. We don't need to know your name or where you're asking from. Send us your questions via the WhatsApp, email address. If you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube, put your question in the comment section. You can give us a call if you'd like, 0203 515 0199. Inshallah, myself and the Sheikh will be able to answer your questions. If you have TikTok, please follow us at Ahkam SOS. We have separate material specifically for our TikTok viewers, and we do interact with your questions. So if you have TikTok, please add us at Ahkam SOS. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikhna, more and more questions coming in from our viewers. A mosque has a number of floors, including the prayer room, basement, kitchen, storage, bathroom facilities. Are all these parts of the building considered as a mosque and have the rulings of the mosque? Can women who are in their state of ritual impurity go to the other floors of this mosque?
You have to ask the trustees, those who run the mosque, to see if they have considered these floors all mosque or not.
Okay. Sheikhna, if one takes a nap for a few seconds, would his wudu render void?
The wudu would not be batil if just the eyes were shut, but you could hear, you could answer if somebody
Yes.
calls you. But for even a second, if somebody went to sleep, that he can't hear anything, the wudu will be batil, of course.
I see. Is the writing of the will mustahab?
Yes, it is mustahab, but when it comes to, for example, preserving someone's rights, haq, then it becomes mandatory and wajib to write that will. For example, if somebody writes a will that my house will become like a mosque as a waqf.
I see.
So you have to make sure that you write that, make it into writing, so the heirs or the inheritors would not take this property as for themselves. So it's a waqf now. So they have to write that, make it in writing that this is basically a waqf for a school, for a orphanage, for a mosque, and so forth.
Sheikhna, assalamu alaikum. Sheikh, I was a Sunni, and after doing my research about Shiaism, I have changed my Aqidah to Shiaism. How can I learn basic fiqh or Shiaism? Is there any English books for basic practices?
I mean, you can start with the book Discover Islam with Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam by Sayyid Qazwini. You can find it in alislam.org. Alislam.org would be a good place for to start with reading some books.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. People nowadays keep telling the followers of the Ahlul Bayt, salawatullah alayhi salam, that there are muqaddin, extremists, even by their own families. That, for example, a brother says that he doesn't want to go to the beach to avoid people who are lesser clothed, but his family keeps saying that he is extreme. What should he do? This concerns everything. For example, music, avoiding food, chess, etc.
You see, the taqwa has been encouraged in the narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that want to be muttaqi, and taqwa means to do the wajib and to leave the haram. And the moment is here. We are in the test, in this dunya as the dunya of test and imtihan. So the more difficult it is, the more it's rewarding and shows that you have passed the stage of committing the sins. All you've mentioned, there are issues with it, of course. Going to the beach, eating some foods which are unknown, the source and so forth. The one should be muttaqi. Taqwa is the best thing.
I see.
Imam Ali says, Salaam Allah alayhi, وَأَعِينُونِي بِوَرَعٍ وَاجْتِهَادٍ, that try to avoid the haram. Learn what is haram, what is wajib. Help me with this issue. أعينوني. So you don't commit sins. You can't just shut your eyes and go anywhere you like and listen to whatever you like. No, we have to be careful. We have submitted ourselves to Allah Azza wa Jal. The shahada of la ilaha illallah and Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa and to Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So we have to follow them as role models.
Another question here from one of our viewers. Is it permissible for a Muslim man to marry a non-Muslim woman who is still married to a non-Muslim man? Is there an iddah period for her when she separates from her non-Muslim husband? What is the period of the iddah? Is it permissible to have sexual relations with her during this time when she is in the iddah from her non-Muslim husband? If she embraces Islam, how long will her iddah be if she intends to marry a Muslim man?
If a Muslim man wants to get married to a
non-Muslim lady,
let's say, of course, non-Muslim means a Christian or a Jew.
Yes.
Ahl Kitab, basically.
Okay.
Not other religions, like
Yes.
Sikhs and Hindus and so forth. In this situation, if they have iddah, that's, of course, to stick with their iddah. But if they don't have iddah, of course, the one can get married to them. Because in their religion, they don't have iddah. But it's better to wait.
Okay, it's better to have it in the
to have
period,
iddah and then get married to
but
her.
it's not compulsory to observe it.
Because they don't have it in their faith and religion.
I see.
They don't have it in their religion.
Okay, so you can marry them straight away.
But it's better, as I've said, to wait.
To wait in the period, just in case.
Just in case,
is pregnant.
avoid it, yeah.
Okay. Question here from one of yours. Is it permissible to use sex toys in its various types for sexual pleasure? Sheikh, I do believe we've discussed this before, and it's on WhatsApp. Using extra, what should we call it, utensils or tools and so forth, instruments, is strictly forbidden. Yes? No?
As mentioned, yes. They have to use natural means, which
I
is
see.
the
husband or a wife.
The hands or the body and so forth of the opposite.
See. Sheikh, if one dictates, put the waqf a piece of land for the purpose of charity, and then he dies, and his sons want to transfer the land to their names because of their need for it or to build it for their use, would this be permissible?
Basically, they have to act upon the will. You can't change the will. You have to follow the will. If the will says, as I just said a few minutes ago, if the will is about turning this place as a mosque, as a waqf, for example, you can't sell it, you can't use it for your own purposes and means. This is now, this land or this property now is a waqf, endowment for the mosque, for orphanage, for any purpose. The Holy Quran states with this regard, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in Surah number 2, verses 180 to 181, كتب عليكم إذا حضر أحدكم الموت إن ترك خيرا الوصية للوالدين والأقربين بالمعروف حقا على المتقين. It is decreed for you when death approaches one of you and he leaves wealth to make a testament in favor of the parents and the relatives, fairly and correctly, a duty upon the righteous. Now the next ayah is what we need. فَمَنْ بَدَّلَهُ بَعْدَمَا سَمِعَهُ فَإِنَّمَا إِثْمُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يُبَدِّلُونَهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. But whoever changes it after he has heard it, the wasiyah, the guilt is upon those who change it. The wasiyah says, the will says, that turn this property as a mosque. But now you want to take this property for yourself and make a hotel and benefit from this hotel. You're not allowed. This is an endowment. This is a waqf. It's a mosque. Allah is all hearing and all knowing. In other words, Allah is hearing you and He's seeing you and He's witness that you are usurping this waqf for your own benefit and self. So one should follow whatever mentioned in the wasiyyah of the deceased.
Okay. Ahsan, Sheikh. Sheikh, we've got some more questions here, and I'll do my best to help you out. Sheikh, is a Shia allowed to marry a Sunni? You've mentioned this many times that it's better to marry with your own just to prevent problematic issues in the further hand. But from a fiqh perspective, I think it is allowed. Is horoscope and tarot card reading halal? Tarot card reading, trying to predict the future and so forth. With horoscopes, there is some idea that we do acknowledge, but we don't necessarily believe in foretelling the future. And also with tarot card reading, they say it's mainly it's just made up. It's not real at all. So Sheikh, horoscopes and tarot card reading. What do you think? What does Islam say?
If there's no haram involved in these foretellings, there should be no issue with it. So it depends really if it's just foretelling the future. Although there's no base for it, it's just somebody who has a bit of knowledge in with this regard. They can tell something, but ala kulli hal, important that there's no haram involved. That's the important thing. Yeah.
Sheikh, our final question for this evening, and that is, Salam, if you do the niyyah of sadaqah over Imam in Zaman, can we give it to non-Muslim homeless people?
If the sadaqah is general sadaqah, you can give it to anybody else if you think they are in need of it, Muslims or non-Muslims. But sometimes it's a specific sadaqah. That's the issue.
I see.
That some would not allow it. That this is specific sadaqah for this specific individuals, for example.
I see.
So it's all to do with the intention, that general sadaqah or a specific, very specific sadaqah.
Ahsan, thank you so much, Sheikh. Now, thank you to all of you for joining us on this episode of Ahkam SOS. If we didn't read out your question, we do apologize. We will read them out and answer them on Wednesday's episode, which is 6:30 here on Imam Hussein TV 3. If you have a question you'd like to ask, please send them in via the WhatsApp, the email address ahkamsos@imamhussein.tv, or alternatively in the WhatsApp, in the YouTube comment section or the Facebook Live comment section. Put in your questions. They will be forwarded to myself and the Sheikh, and inshallah on Wednesday's episode we'll be able to answer them 6:30 here on Imam Hussein TV. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
Whilst this winter many of you will be enjoying the festive season, Afghanistan is going through a crisis. Every winter the weather will reach temperatures as low as -18 degrees Celsius. With little finances and homes not adequate enough to keep the heat in, many families struggle during this season. The elderly are vulnerable and physically challenged to fight the cold during these days and nights. Young children must walk through snow and ice in order to get to school and return to a chilly and bitter cold home. Imam Hussein Development and Relief Foundation are determined to help. We will be providing households with coal to burn throughout the winter. $150 is all we need. $150 will be enough to provide heat and warmth for one household for the whole of winter. That's $150 for 4 months. You can donate via PayPal, bank transfer, or visit us at www.ihdrf.org to make a donation. Our Imams tell us the best of you are those who help those who are desperate. Help us spread the warmth. Thank you.
IHDRF is proud to announce the launch of its app, Sadaqah. Sadaqah is a modern, easy, and interactive way for you to pay your charity. Your Sadaqah can be transferred instantly and directly start helping orphans. Furthermore, you can donate to different projects such as clothing orphans, supplying clean water, heating fuel for the winter, and feeding the hungry. When you pay your Sadaqah, It will be used to feed, clothe, and school orphans. Our app is accessible via the App Store and Google Play Store. Download today and pay your sadaqah.
Have a duty towards the preservation and the propagation of the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Indeed, one of the best ways to work towards the reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif is through promoting the values of Karbala. Imam Hussein Media Group is the only Shia television network that broadcasts globally in 5 different languages: Arabic, Farsi, Turkish, Urdu, and English. We are appealing to the lovers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam worldwide to support the channel such that it may continue its global operations. Imam Hussein Media Group is seeking 1,000 partners to pledge to a £14 contribution per month. This will allow the channel to sustain its operating costs as we continue to spread the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in multiple languages across the globe. You be a part of this great legacy and donate today. You can pledge in 2 ways. www.imamhussein3.tv/donate will take you direct to our donation page where you can pledge monthly. Or you can call or WhatsApp us on 0044 793 9917163. Imam Hussein TV, your gateway to Karbala.
Fatima is a part of me. Whoever angers her angers me.
Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra, Salamullahi alayha, has a great and tragic story. Throughout the year, we commemorate the calamities that befell her eminence through different narrations, and we honor her legacy. Therefore, her majalis must be established in Karbala. Imam Hussein TV complex has a Husainiyya being built on the ground floor to hold majalis throughout the year, to allow pilgrims to pray, rest and eat tabarruk, but it still needs a lot of work. We are asking for £250 and upwards to help with flooring, wiring, furnishing and decorating. Each donation of £250 will receive a bundle of Karbala relics, which include a turba of Karbala, prayer beads made from the holy land of Karbala, khaki-shifa from the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and lastly, a water of alqamah from beside the grave of Abu Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam. Or if you donate £786, you will not only receive our Karbala bundle, but you will also receive an official flag from the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. These flags have had the barakah of being kept inside the blessed dome of the shrine of Sayyid al-Shuhada for 3 nights. To find out more, visit imamhussein3.tv/HQ or call us on the numbers displayed below. Let us not let the legacy of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra perish. Her story must be told.
Imam Hussein Media Group is a virtual university that works on a global scale to spread the true message of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt's peace and blessings be upon them. Imam Hussein TV was established 10 years ago in the city of Isfahan, Iran. We work to cover all aspects of religion, Islamic jurisprudence,